Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, thank you for having me. My name is Rafli Nugroho, and today I will tell you a traditional American story called A Tall Tale. A tall tale is a story about a person who is larger than life. The description in the story are exaggerated, much greater than it is in real life. This will make the story kind of funny. Long ago, the people who settled in undeveloped areas in America first told tall tales. After a hard day's work, people gathered to tell each other funny stories. Each group of workers had its own tall tale hero, and Paul Bunyan was a hero of North America's lumberjacks, the workers who cut down trees. He was known for his strength, speed, and skill. Tradition says he cleared forests from the northeastern United States to the Pacific Ocean. Here we go. Many years ago, Paul Bunyan was born in the northeastern American state of Maine. His mother and father were shocked when they first saw the boy. Paul was so large at birth that 5 large birds had to carry him to his parents. When the boy was only a few weeks old, he weighed more than 45 kilograms. As a child, Paul was always hungry. His parents needed 10 cows to supply milk for his meals. Before long, he ate 50 eggs and 10 containers of potatoes every day. Young Paul grew so big that his parents did not know what to do with him. Once, Paul rolled over so much in his sleep that he caused an earthquake. This angered the people in town where his parents lived. So, the government told his mother and father that they would have to move him somewhere else. So, Paul's father built a wooden cradle. A cradle is a traditional bed for a baby. His parents put the cradle in the waters along the coast of Maine. However, every time Paul rolled over in his sleep, huge waves covered all the coastal towns. So, his parents brought their son back on land. They took him to the woods. And this is where the legend began. As a boy, Paul helped his father cut down trees. Paul had the strength of many men. He was also extremely agile. He could turn off a light and then jump into his bed before the room got dark. As we know, Maine is very cold for much of the year. One day, it started to snow. The snow covered Paul's home and nearby forests. However, this snow was very unusual. It was blue. The blue snow kept falling until the forest was covered altogether. Paul put on his snowshoes and went out to see the unusual sight. And as he walked, Paul discovered an animal stuck in the snow. It was a baby ox. Paul decided to take the ox home with him. He put the animal near the fireplace. After the ox got warmer, his hair still remained blue. And Paul decided to keep the blue ox and named him Babe. Babe grew very quickly. One night, Paul left him in a small building with the other animals. In the next morning, the barn was gone, and so was Babe. Paul searched everywhere for his favorite animal. He found Babe calmly eating the grass in the valley, and of course, with the barn still stuck on top of his back. So Babe followed Paul and grew larger every day. Every time Paul took a sneak and looked at him, Babe seemed to grow taller. In those days, much of North America was filled with thick green forests. Paul Bunyan could clear large wooded areas with a single stroke of his large shaped axe, like a swing, and all the forest was gone. Paul taught Babe how to help with his work. Babe was very useful for his size. For example, Paul had trouble removing trees along the road that was not straight. he decided to tie one end to the rope and tied the other end to Babe. Babe dug his feet on the ground and pulled with all his strength until the rope became straight. In time, Paul and Babe, the blue ox, left Maine. It is time for them to move west and look for work in other forests. Along the way, Paul dug out the Great Lakes to provide drinking water for Babe. They settled in a camp near the Onion River in the state of Minnesota. Paul's camp was the largest, by far the largest in the country. The camp was so massive that the man had to have a 1 week supply of food when he's walking from one side of the camp to the other. 1 week. Paul decided to get other lumberjacks to help with the work. His work crew became known as the 7 X-Men. Each man was more than 2 meters tall and weighed more than 160 kilograms. All of the X-Men were named Elmer. That way, they all came running whenever Paul called them. The man who cooked for the group was named Sourdough Sam. He made everything, well, except from coffee. From sourdough, a substance used in making sourdough bread. Paul needed someone to help with the camp's finances. He cannot do math. So, he gave the job to a man named Johnny Inkslinger. Johnny kept records of everything, including wages and the cost of feeding Babe. He sometimes used 9 containers of ink a day to keep such a detailed record. The camp was also home to Sport, the reversible dog. One of the workers accidentally cut Sport in two. The man hurried to put the dog back together, but made a mistake. He bent the animal's back the wrong way. However, there was not a problem for Sport. He learned to run on his front legs until he was tired. Then he turned the other way and ran on his back legs. Big mosquitoes were also a problem at the camp. The men attacked the insects with their axes and long sticks. Before long, the men put barriers around their living space. And then Paul got an idea. He ordered his crew to get big bees to destroy and kill all the mosquitoes. But the bees married the mosquitoes. Alas, the problem got worse. They began to produce young insects, which is a problem. And one day, the insects' love of sweets caused them to attack the ship that was bringing sugar cubes to the camp. At last, finally, the mosquitoes and bees were defeated. They ate so much sugar that they could not move anymore. Paul always gave Babe, the blue ox, a 35-kilogram piece of sugar whenever he was good. But sometimes, Babe liked to play tricks, like animals. At night, Babe would make noises and hit the ground with his feet. The man at the camp would run out of the building panicking, thinking it was an earthquake. When the winter came, Babe had trouble finding enough food to eat. The snow covered everything. All at the blacksmith solved the problem. He made a huge green sunglasses for Babe. So when Babe wore the glasses, he thought the snow was grass. Before long, Babe was strong and healthy again. One year, Paul's camp was especially cold. It was so cold that the men let their facial hair grow very long. When the men spoke, their words froze in air. Everything they say remained frozen all winter long and did not melt until spring. Paul Bunyan and Babe left their mark on so many areas. Some people say they were responsible for creating Puget Sound in the western state of Washington. The others say Bunyan and Babe cleared the trees from the states of North Dakota all the way to South Dakota. They prepared this area for farming purposes. Babe the blue ox died in South Dakota. One story says he ate too many hotcakes. Paul buried his old friend here. Today, the burial place was known as the Black Hills. So, whatever happened to Paul Bunyan? There's a lot of rumors and stories. Some people say he was last seen in Alaska or even the Arctic Cycle. Other traditions say he still returns to Minnesota every summer. It says Paul moves in and out of the woods, so few people ever know that he was there. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay healthy, guys. Okay, keep safe yourself. And always remember to do 3 M's, wash your hands, and always wearing mask, and keep distance from each other. Okay? Thank you, guys. See you later.